Student Health Services is here. So we kind of just have our one pager, and I can drop a link to where you can access this document on your own. But so the biggest thing that we always want to point out is that when it comes to our primary care visits, so part of your tuition, there's a health fee. And with that, it allows you to see any of our primary care doctors as many times as you need throughout that current semester without an additional out-of-pocket expense. So again, this is just going to cover that primary care visit or to see our doctors. Anything in addition, such as lab work, blood work, prescriptions, medical supplies, etc. That's when charges would occur. But it's just kind of important to know that. And the big thing is too, is right now we do have inpatient visits as well. So if you're here in the Orlando area or on main campus, we're absolutely available to see you. But we also have all of our appointment types are available via telehealth. So no matter where you currently are taking your classes, for, if you're mostly remote, you can also access our medical professionals here at the health center. Same thing I wanted to mention with our pharmacy. So we do have an on-campus pharmacy. It also is a full convenience store as well. You can order your convenience items online to pick up, as well as all of your medications. And then the next page is kind of I'm not going to go over everything, but basically just to be able to peruse and look through and see that we have a variety of medical services available. Again, all of these will be available either in person or via telehealth, whichever works for you. Currently, our nurses, as I have there at the bottom right, is the COVID line. So it is our team that is overseeing that COVID line. So if you have any questions in regards to COVID-related symptoms, if you may or may not need to be tested, or if you're wanting to be tested and want that referral, that's the number you'll call, and it's our staff that kind of helps navigate the process and answer those questions for you. So those are kind of a lot of the things that we have going on for that. And like I said, all of these services, they're available for you. We are screening patients before they come in the facility. So depending on if you're having any COVID related symptoms, you might not be able to come onto campus, but that would be through your COVID checker. So that would maybe deter if you're able to use one of these in-person services or not. But again, all of them are available via telehealth as well. And then I had one other thing that I had wanted to share, and this is our flu website. So let me just pop that up. So if you go onto our website, or it's just the studenthealth.ucf.edu/flu. So right now is the start of flu season. So we do offer the flu shot free to all of our students. No insurance is necessary. You just need to, there's multiple ways of getting it. So you can always just come to the health center. So that's where I have here. You can always just, if you do have one of those inpatient or in-person visits, you can just request it while you're here, or you can always walk up to the health center at any time that we are open, and you can get that through our main appointments entrance, or we offer traveling flu shot clinics. So as you can see here, currently we have a bunch of dates scheduled on our satellite campuses. Coming very soon will be more opportunities throughout campus. But the big one I want to highlight is our mobile flu cart. So every Monday and Thursday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., our nurses are just riding around campus in the flu cart. You can follow us on Twitter in order to figure out kind of where we are in real time, as well as request we come directly to you. So we can go anywhere a golf cart has access. You would have to come out of the building to come out to our golf cart, but we can pull up to any building on campus. We've had lots of students take advantage of this when they finish class in Nicholson. They let us know, and we're there within 10 minutes, and they can get their flu shot right there. Nice and convenient. So you should have been seeing lots of communication, and there will be even more that's going to be discussing the importance of getting your flu shot, especially during times such as COVID-19, because the overall idea is we want to reduce the burden of respiratory illnesses on our healthcare systems. So if we can do something to help protect ourselves and our community members, it's absolutely something we want to do. So I just wanted to make sure that we highlighted that this is available. So that's all I'm going to do.
Thank you so much. Does any of our panelists have anything else to add before I send out a poll and then we begin the questioning? Great. So I will send out a poll now to everybody. It would be great if everyone participates. It's just a quick question that we can start our discussion on. We'll give it 30 more seconds. But while we let people finish, if anyone wants to turn on their mic to ask a question now, you totally can. I highly encourage you to ask any question at all about well-being.
Hello. So I have a question for Miss Bradbury. So I remember she was talking about a group that focuses on Asian empowerment, and I'm very for that. Where would I search for that? Because I remember you said, oh, so sorry. I remember you said that you were hosting like Zoom sessions, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so I think Brazil just sent out the group descriptions link for
Okay.
the semester. But if you are interested in my group, it still hasn't, we haven't run it yet because I only have 2 confirmed members. And so I'm still waiting for referrals, but you have to be a CAPS client to participate in the group, which means you just need to do an intake. But if the group is something that that's like what you want to do, you can go in and just say, I want to participate in the group, but we'll just put you through an intake. And then from there, you'll be assigned to that service basically. And then you'd be able to do a group screen and then participate once it gets going. So, and that goes for any group, but if Empowering Asian Voices is what you're looking for, that's definitely something that's still available this semester. And I run it every semester, but this semester I haven't started it yet because I'm still waiting for more members to join. But so yeah, timing's pretty good.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
I
no,
will reach out.
yeah, for sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm quickly sharing the results from our poll. As we can see, most people are within the 3 or 4 range, but at the same time, it's important that we try to get everyone at least a 4. At least a 4, and hopefully at some point 5, though it doesn't have to be every day 5, you know? So just to let y'all know. Okay. Does anyone else have questions?
I also have another question. So I know at least for CAPS, the services are free for UCF students. Is that correct?
Yeah, you already pay the health fee in your tuition. So
that's what it
that
was.
health fee that pays for our services, yeah.
Okay.
And then over the summer, we do a bridge program where, let's say you took classes in the fall and the spring, but in the summer you're not enrolled because you're taking the summer off. You would still be allowed to use our services, but you would just have to pay $30 per session to use it because you're not paying the health fee. So that would be the only caveat. But as long as you're an enrolled UCF student, you can use our services.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Brianna, I just wanted to add, since you were interested in the group, I forgot to let you know that it's Tuesdays from 1 to 2:30. So as long as you don't have class or anything during that time, that would be, it would work with your schedule. Because I would hate for you to have to go through all that and then find out.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm free on Tuesday, so that's super great.
Perfect. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So what specific methods would you guys recommend to keep track of our well-being?
Did anyone have any answers to that? If not, I'll jump in.
I mean, I was just going to suggest things. I know one of the big things that we always suggest at Student Health Services is things such as journaling or just kind of keeping a notebook and recording things, even if it's as simple as when you wake up, you know, this is how I feel. And when you go to bed, this is how I feel. So then you can kind of notice the different things. The more detail you put in it and the more reflection you can do, the better. But that's the same thing. I mean, journaling what you eat, journaling how well you sleep, a lot of those type of things, because it helps you identify areas that you can improve on. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest tools that we always recommend students to try to develop those well habits.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
There's also apps that you could download. I don't know specific ones. I know that they're out there, so I don't want to say which ones they are because I don't really know. But if you just Google like well-being app tracker or wellness app tracker, I'm sure there'll be a plethora of those pop up for you. But journaling, yeah, that's definitely a good way to do that. And then something too is like those of you who use planners to kind of plan out your week with classes or responsibilities, a good way to also keep track of like your overall well-being is to maybe also plan in like self-care. So like sometimes, you know, we only plan, okay, we have this assignment due here, and like it's only like the responsibilities we have, but it may help and be less stressful or overwhelming if you plan in also like fun things or self-care ideas, like okay, at noon I'm going to go take a walk or sit by the fountain and eat my lunch, and then, you know, at 3 p.m. I'm going to take a 10-minute break and listen to music or something like that, or read a book that you're reading for pleasure. So it can really be about what is going to work best for you, but sometimes being intentional about actually scheduling in self-care or scheduling in non-responsibility homework type things to do is also a way to keep track of that. So either use an app, do it yourself, it's totally up to you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else like to share a question that they have, or even just a comment or thought based on what the panelists presented? If not, we could also just have an open discussion. And I guess a question that I always like to ask students is, when was the last time they've eaten a vegetable that isn't potato or corn? So if anyone wants to pop in and like share when was the last time they ate a vegetable, now's the time to do so. Even our panelists can answer this.
Well, I use like that Ninja blender smoothie thing. So that's how I get in my vegetables, because otherwise I just can't.
Usually I end up just going to Publix and getting one of their pre-made salads to help out instead of just making my own, because sometimes that takes time to cut up everything up. And I'm not entirely sure what's good and what's not when it comes to preparing that.
Well, for me, since I live off campus, I live about like 40 minutes away from UCF. Um, Yesterday, actually, I actually ate like this like soup. I'm not even sure what it is. It's like a vegetable, but it's like from Vietnam, I should say. Yeah, my mom cooked it, so. Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you guys for that.
I have a question about what do you enjoy about working in your respective agencies?
Let's say for me, just there's also, there's always the helping aspect, but our programs are so behavior based. So really be able to see students learn new, healthy, well ways of behaving, whether it's through, obviously like eating well, sleeping, stress management, all of those things, physical fitness, and seeing them reach those goals and knowing that they did it on their own. It's just really empowering for me to see that happen in others.
I really enjoy working with students that are maybe not having the best experience here. That's a lot of what we do in student care services. We're kind of a lot of times the last resort for students that are trying to navigate UCF or figure out their best options And a lot of times we realized that they just didn't know about a lot of the resources and services. So seeing so many people participating in this today is really positive for me, because now you all know a lot of these services and hopefully can share with your friends and get them connected. So something that I love is when we do actually connect someone and help them find all of these services, and they use them and realize that, you know, they can do it and they can be successful here, and it's just a matter of taking that first step. So I'm happy to see so many folks on this call today.
For me, one of the highlights is marrying what, you know, all the other colleagues have said is you guys, the students. There's a lot to be said when you know you're able to help somebody, especially when you're helping them to achieve a level of wellness and well-being, as well as the creativity put to make, for my case specifically, how to make healthcare fun. So that's always a unique experience and one of the things I greatly enjoy and why I'm here.
Yeah, I would say same, kind of echoing on what everyone has shared so far. But, you know, really wanting to make a difference in other people's lives. And, you know, I love working with college students because it's never boring. It's always unique. Everyone's so different. And college students, I found, are extremely resilient. And I love to see the growth that each of you who, let's say, would go to therapy, and after 3-4 sessions or however many sessions, you know, you notice you feel better, you start to think more positively about yourself, and like all the change, it's like it's very healing and therapeutic for myself to do that. And it's a validating career for sure. And you know, I like to say, like, therapy is like, or therapists save lives without, like, with words type of thing. Because I've had clients say that, you know, therapy saved their life, and therapy saved my life personally. So that's why I'm a therapist, and I really enjoy it, I think. And college students in particular, that's such a delicate and important developmental period of your life to go through college, because it's a critical period where you learn about yourself, you learn about what you want to do for the rest of your life. There's tons and tons of fun, pain, trauma, stress that it's not easy to navigate. And so I just want to be there to help support students who need that to be successful and happy, and, you know, all the stuff we talk about. So
Beautifully said, Katie. I feel the exact same way, and that's why I'm in this position. Therapy has saved my life as well. And specifically to CAPS, there's like a sense of belonging, and in the group, a lot of people, like, I did not know that I would find such people or that anybody felt the same way. And it's amazing to see that in group, and just see you grow as a person. There's something unique about having a 1 hour dedicated to exploring your thoughts, to thinking about your thoughts, and just reserving that time for yourself alone can be a step to well-being and increasing that well-being. So yeah, I invite you to partake in either individual or group. And like you said, it's UCF and your college phase of life. There's a lot of challenges, a lot of crossroads, a lot of choices, big choices to make. So we're here to help you with that too. So.
So I guess I have another point of discussion to bring up in terms of well-being, and I hope that some of the students will actually pitch in first before we have the panelists answer. So it's sort of a debate question. Do we think eating after a specific time at night, like let's say 8 p.m., is good or bad or neutral? Why or why not?
For me, well, my sleeping schedule is a bit off. So usually I go to bed around like 1 or 2, and then wake up around like 10. So usually my eating schedule would be like 12, like noon, and then 4, and then 8, or a little bit later. So I don't know how that would fare, but I think I'm doing okay.
I mean, I would say neutral, depends on the person. At most, I'll have like a bowl of cereal, but I guess I do feel really bloated if I eat like late at night. That's just me though.
I think it definitely depends on like what you're eating. So if after 8 I decide to eat like I'm not gonna feel good and sleeping is just gonna not come very well. But like if I eat something light, like I don't know, this might be a little bit niche to me, but like a pickle and a cheese stick, I think that that's like really awesome, and it always like it honestly like calms me down, and it's sort of like a okay, like bedtime snack, let's go.
Do our panelists have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so we have clinical dietitians on staff here at the health center. So I can also just say if you ever have any questions about what you're eating, you can always make an appointment with them. But it is recommended that your largest meals or your heaviest meals are earlier in the day and that you taper off your eating after 6 p.m.
Well,
So even if you are eating something like a snack or something later, of course, that's okay. But then, you know, like I said, trying to make that larger meals to be earlier in the day and you taper off the amount that you're consuming. This helps you get better sleep. And then even for the student that was talking about, you know, they go to bed later, so they're still getting their allotted amount of sleep. Your body's circadian rhythm and how it processes food applies to that. So when you're eating a really heavy meal toward the evening or later, when your body's kind of already shutting down and slowing down to the restorative states, it doesn't process that energy properly. And that's where you can have issues with, you know, weight gain or weight loss or things like that. So it's just, again, everybody's different. And yes, we know student schedules going to bed at 10 p.m. every night is not ideal. But just trying to keep in mind and be conscious of it, to have those heavier meals earlier in the day and try to at least avoid eating 3 to 4 hours before actually going to sleep is ideal.
Just to kind of go along with what Crystal was saying, in our department, we have wellness coaching, and that can revolve around nutrition. We do not have registered dietitian on our staff, but they can talk about, you know, what you're eating and even looking at why you're eating. So that's a big thing also with kind of the mental well-being aspect of, are you eating because you're bored? Are you eating out of comfort? And so that kind of going into what you're eating. So kind of exploring that a little bit as well. So.
Yeah, basically piggybacking off of Pam and Crystal, I don't necessarily, this might be a very therapist thing to say, but I don't necessarily think it's good or bad. I think there's a lot that depends on that, right? So it's what works for you, your body, your culture. I know, you know, depending on the culture you come from, certain cultures don't eat dinner until 10 p.m., 9 p.m. And so you may be used to eating later. Some cultures eat earlier, or, you know, certain beliefs and values, like all of that plays into when you eat and what you're eating. But definitely, I think it's really just about doing your best to, again, definitely not eat a big, large meal right before you go to bed, but to understand the relationship between your emotions, your thought, your energy, your appetite, and your mood, because all of that would trigger maybe wanting to eat. You're feeling like you're really hungry because you're tired or you're stressed, and you just need to kind of fulfill that emotion. So recognizing why you're eating, I would say, is definitely a big would be helpful. And then at our center, we do have one of the clinicians who is also she's a psychologist, but also a registered dietitian. So she coordinates the eating disorder management team that we have within CAPS. But I think, yeah, I don't necessarily think it's good or bad. I think it's like a depending type of situation. But yeah, it's like a spectrum of veering toward trying to be more healthy with regards to, I guess, the time of day that you're eating big meals. So I think everyone's point is accurate.
Does anyone in the student audience have any other questions before I pose one final question, and then we'll have announcements and closing comments?
I do have a question, but I would be backtracking a little. Is that okay?
Mhm.
Okay, so I would say I'm pretty in touch with like my physical and mental well-being, but my spirituality side is kind of lacking. Um, are there any specific resources for that? Because I've always struggled with that the most.
Go ahead, Katie.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we definitely have, I mean, I think CAPS we do our best to assist students with every concern that they come in with, every goal that they have that they want to achieve. And spirituality, the spiritual identity, that type of presenting concern is definitely something we see relatively frequently through our doors. So if you are wanting to receive some support or wanting to just explore that part of you a little bit more, CAPS itself could be a good resource. I don't know if we have any workshops on that. We might. If you look at our workshops, there may be something on spirituality type of situation. But yeah, my best answer to that would be CAPS. Just in general, just kind of like wanting to explore that part of your identity. And then I don't know, Brazil, if you know of any other resources or anyone else know of any other resources.
Yeah, just to highlight or to emphasize what you said, there are some counselors on our team that are also comfortable with if it's a particular religion, a particular spirituality that you did want to explore more, either Catholicism, Buddhism, or something like that. I know there's a couple of therapists that can work with you if you want something more specific, or if you want something more in general and just exploring the spiritual identity. Like Katie said, I think CAPS would be a great start for you. I know there's others clubs. This is apart from, I know there's other clubs, like if you want to join faith-based clubs or religion-based clubs, you can see that as well. But CAPS could be a great starting point for you too.
And I agree. I think CAPS would be a great starting point, and just kind of, again, this time in your life is, like Katie was saying, is developmental, and you're figuring out all of these areas and aspects about yourself. When you think of well-being, there is so many different sides to it. And we also, it's interesting you said that, because in our the mindfulness class they've been teaching, that's actually come up a bit of spirituality and being still and having a kind of another almost presence that you understand about yourself that maybe you hadn't explored before. So kind of separating it from religion, but just having a sense of who you are in that kind of the realm of the universe has actually come up